Peki.
Welcome again. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Saliha Irfan Khan and I'm from Pakistan. Currently pursuing my PhD last year actually from Istanbul University. Previously, I was a university visiting lecturer in Pakistan. Currently, I am teaching in one of the prominent Turkish school here since 2 years and from other schools as well previously. So my major is sociology and also from sociological background. Privately, I've been doing the empath counseling as well as some research based things. So academically and some social things, this is how my intro could be.
What was your first impression when you arrived in Istanbul or Turkey?
Okay, for me, impression is when I came here, it was a COVID time. So, of course, a lot of difficulties and challenges were there. First impression was obviously for me, I had already the, I would say, imaginative things in my mind regarding to Turkey or specifically Istanbul without seeing it. Even I never bother myself to even Google it out or to search it out. Okay, how actually Istanbul look like or Turkey look like. I never bothered, but it's something within me as a kind of a spiritual idea or imaginative idea. But since I come here, so again in the COVID time, it was a little bit restrictive. But when it comes to experience, I would say, obviously, a few things were a little bit shattering, but not in a negative way. It's like a real picture show, actually. The point is, initially, I have no idea that there would be such kind of language barrier here. So the first interaction and the first shattering point was this, that I was believing that maybe the English would help it out. Then again, my studies were all in Turkish, so which we were supposedly be believing that maybe I would be able to convert it into English, or maybe my coursework I would manage it with the help of supervisors or the other professors. But unfortunately, when it was not happening in that way as I was expecting, so it was obviously difficult and challenging time. But in terms of it, I would say that what I experienced and what I believed in, I think many more better things that were beyond my expectations. For example, at that time, the recreational activities, even still, the concept of rehab things and also the recreational things around the community. That's what I love the most. Similarly, not even in Istanbul, because Istanbul is very much foreigners oriented place, so you cannot find the locals of Turkey and cannot find the exact local Turkish culture in its real purity. So what I started to roam around in the very native places, especially in the Asian side of the Istanbul. So then I started to realize it that the scenario and the people's experiences and their warm welcoming and hospitality is totally different as compared to those areas, especially which are very much foreigners oriented.
What surprised you most about Turkish traditions or daily interactions?
The first surprising thing was that there is no concept of proper dinner or lunch or a food kind of festivity at weddings. I mean, it's very acceptable in this society that you are calling out people to attend your wedding, also for the photography or whatever is happening. So if you want a picture with the groom and bride or with anything, you have to pay for the picture. That was a good thing. Because in Pakistan, this is something, for example, if it is my wedding, I have to organize my own photographer, I have to organize my own hall and all expenses for the food, and the food should have to be very lavish according to certain standards. If you are not, then again it's like what we call as in Turkish dedi kodu, so it's started all over. But in Turkey, the very first, I think it was my 4th month being in Turkey, so I went to a Turkish wedding. And the best part that I felt is that there is no compulsion on the groom's or the bride's family to have a certain kind of lavish food or something. No, you can just deal with some basic snacks, that's enough. And what I believe is fine. I mean, it's nice. You are attending someone's good moments or happy moments, so attend with all open heartedness, not just for the sake of give and take. Okay, I paid you as something. And most importantly, we have the concept of giving some money at the time of the wedding. As a guest, we are going to the stage and meeting the groom and bride and giving some gifts, either in money or something. Here, I also checked it out. But here, nobody knows who gave how much. But here, everybody should know how much you gave and how much I gave. So it's like a competition over there, more like a show off, which I definitely hate the most about my own culture. But here, when I checked it out, it's like easy on everyone according to their own budget, according to, and it's like in a way of private thing, which is good enough in our social circumstances. And as a sociologist, of course, I'm very choosy to look into these kind of details culturally and socially. So probably that's what my insight was in the beginning.
What small cultural differences have stood out to you while living in Turkey? Food, gestures, daily habits.
Okay, initially, food was not that problem because I'm not that kind of fussy about the taste. I mean, I am, but not that kind of that, okay, if it is Turkish food and if it's not that, because in our side, it's the spices are really important. Spices are not for the sake of color, spices are for the sake of putting some or additional taste. But again, because in my family, or we are not that kind of spicy food lovers, even cannot digest it. So for me, adjusting with Turkish food was not that difficult experience. Also, it was a nice experience to have different flavors. But I would definitely say if you have Turkish friends and you're going to their places and having the pure Turkish homemade food, then it's best. You cannot compare with any other food. But if you're going obviously to the touristic places or somewhere outside restaurants, you cannot find the actual pure taste. And when you move around, because Turkey is not only Istanbul, move around to the other areas, people have different kind of foods, and each region has a different speciality and with either food. I love the dances, especially halay and horon, zebek, even the wedding concepts with the dances. So and also because Turkey is very much historically rich about the folk culture, having different ranges of culture, not only from the present day, from the centuries and centuries ago, even from the just starting from the Mesopotamian civilizations. Imagine the way things are going on from the Romans and then from the Byzantine and then coming to Ottomans and then the present day. So it's going on and on, some way keeping the same uniqueness or bringing some more addition to it. So what I feel is I actually enjoyed. Probably just because I am a lover of history and archaeology, this is one of the most important thing because Turkey holds everything. If you want to go for natural beauty, you will find it. If you want to go for archaeological sites and excavations, you can find. So whatever you want, whatever you imagine, Turkey is the one and only country of the world, I would say, that has everything, every taste, whatever you want to.
Is there something in Turkey that still feels completely unique to you? Something you don't see back home or hometown?
That's a quite tricky question. I think I need some more time to even think about it. But yes, one thing that I would definitely appreciate, again from a social and cultural perspective, unfortunately, we are so much indulged with the concept of extended and joint family system. Whereas in Turkey, I feel like the concept of family having a nuclear one, where only when it's the time to get married, the groom has to organize a separate home, either on rent, either to buy, whatever it is. They have a separate living. They can, I mean, if this living or their apartment could be very nearby to their parents, either to girls' parents' house or to the boys, according to again where they work. So they have to, obviously, when you are living in Istanbul, especially, you have to keep in mind the location where you are working and the location where you're living. If it is very nearby, you are lucky enough. If it is not, then you have to manage in between. So this is what I really like about it, that there is not such kind of a compulsion, and that's why people are keeping their noses in their own matter. Although obviously when we have a family, so we do keep in touch with their good times and the bad times. That's the necessity of the family and the purpose of the family, but not as a compulsion that the bride has to be with living with the in-laws and it is compulsory to be with them. And if it is not, then that bride has some character issues or it's not considered to be as a bride or XYZ. Then again, the good part again, I would say that here I saw women as more empowered, as equal to men also. I don't know how Turkish people would consider themselves into this condition, but for me, as compared to Pakistan, if I would say, then I can never see probably a girl would be, especially girl from 18 to, or maybe from 15, 16 years of the age till the 2021 working outside, which is again a negative aspect, because if you are not able enough to earn in the early ages, you do not have any sorry, you do not have any idea about what's going on around in the world, how to manage your finances. You just keep depending on your family until you are by the age of 30, 35, and it goes with the boys as well. So we have a very pampered culture, which is good, but to some extent everything looks fine under certain limitations, but if it is not, then again it is disastrous. So for us as a society, we have, I think, the decades of this disaster of having this joint family system and the over expectations from every single person, and those expectations turn into a huge burden, either financial burdens, either the burdens of taking responsibilities. So people are not ready to accept, and especially here I see the old women and men, they are also going out, they are sitting in the parks, they are going to the coffee shops. They are not depending on, okay, my son is going to come at home, he will be saying salam to me, and then he will sit some what hours with me, and then I will be okay as my old age. But they are depending on themselves, they are having their own good time, they are having their own, I mean, recreational time, they have their the concept of having friends. But unfortunately, specifically for women in Pakistan, the concept itself, the girls and women do not accept it, and the other pressures of the society also do not let them to accept this scenario. Once you got married, you are not allowed to have friends. If you're keeping your friends, that means you are not giving the priority to the other responsibilities that are coming to. So the keeping of a balance in each of the relationships, unfortunately we are lacking in it.
Have locals treated you differently because you're foreign? Any funny or memorable story to share?
For me, my personal experience with the Turkish people is, I would say 95% is a positive experience. Probably I can call myself lucky enough in this way, or maybe there is a theory, I would say, the law of attraction. So probably I had that attraction about Istanbul, that even though before coming to Istanbul, I always thought about it, that once because initially I was planning to go for New Zealand for my PhD. So because of that, I was having this concept once I did my PhD. Ultimately, my workstation, my living station would be Istanbul. So, that's why I would say that I have the 95% of the good experiences. Yes, obviously 5% I'm keeping it, that certain bad experience also occurred. But again, that's part of life. You cannot say everything to be gloomy every time. You have to go through with the bad side as well. But in terms of good memories, I think I have a lot. Especially, I have a very good chemistry with the old age people here, whether they are men or women. Whenever it comes to conversations, I always love it. Either it is Uskudar Sahil, I come across a lot of the old age men or women around there. Then sometimes at bus stop. I think it was it was first year of my being in Turkey, and I met a woman at a bus stop, and she was around maybe 60 plus or some kind of age. She was actually retired from her job. So she said, you had a prime minister, female prime minister, Benazir Bhutto. And I was really shocked that how come she knows Benazir Bhutto. And the most important shocking point was that she was talking in English as an old person, where I didn't find any young age people speaking in English. So that was a shocking thing. But again, when she talked about the Benazir Bhutto, I said, okay, yes, she was our prime minister. And then she said, when I was in the school time, we used to have Milli Marche, the Turkish Milli Marche, and then we have the Milli song of the Pakistan. And then she started to sing that song that while we were waiting for the bus. Being within Turkey for 1 month and come across with such kind of an experience where people have such, I would say, respect and such kind of in-depth love, and the moment she get to know, okay, I'm from Pakistan, the way she started to express herself, I think one of other memories are different, but this memory would always keep different, significant, and always special for me.
Turkish series are super popular in Pakistan. Do you also watch them? Which one your favorite?
Turkish series have gone Pakistan is crazy. The first Turkish series which was dubbed in Urdu language, actually, it was Ishq-e Mamnu. So after that there were some other plays, but the Muhtasham Yüzyıl, it was also dubbed in Urdu, and it also got very popular. But during the COVID, Dirilish Ertuğrul, it just blown everyone's mind. Probably because everybody was at home, nothing to do, and one Turkish series is 2.5 hours, so it's just like a movie you are watching every day. So it was also dubbed in English and Urdu. The very first series what I watched was also Dirilish Ertuğrul, but not what I wanted to. Yet having this Turkish charisma within me, I unfortunately couldn't have the time. But my students back then, they insisted me a lot, ma'am, you should have to see this. You should have to watch that series. And then I started to, it became literally an addiction that I cannot even explain what kind of addiction it was. But later on, the other series, Usman Ghazi, I couldn't watch it, unfortunately. I started to watch Sultan Abdul Hamid Ikinci. So it was also got very popular. But the way Dirilish Ertuğrul and Ishq-e Mamnu, these two series got the popularity, none other than and also Usman Ghazi in Pakistan is popular. So definitely it's a cultural exchange, and between Pakistan and I remember during our college in English book, we used to have a chapter on Ataturk. Now there is no concept and no link of having an Ataturk into English book, but we had it. And regarding to the performance and I would say the political ways of, it was just 2 to 3 pages chapter, very small thing like a biography of Ataturk. But at that time nobody knows who is Ataturk, why we are I mean reading in the Turkish in the English textbook. But later, of course, people started to get to know. But yes, I would say the way the media exchange has gone, a lot of Pakistani students, even I know one of the girl, we have a novel writer called Nimra Ahmed, and she wrote her book called Jannat Ke Patte in Urdu. It's Jannat Shi Yapra. And she actually stated and visualized in his writing about Istanbul, and people literally imagine, for example, she has stated Jawahir Mall. Now I have never been to Jawahir Mall till that time, and one day I went to from Mejidiyekoi metro station, I just take an exit and it entered directly to Jawahir Mall, and I had no idea, I didn't even see anywhere that where I'm actually entering to. I just took a picture, there is a common place I would say, and on the top of it there is a clock over it. And I just took a picture, posted on my WhatsApp story, and one of my students immediately commented me, ma'am, do you know you are in Jawahir Mall? And I was like, I had no idea. But this girl who didn't see Jawahir Mall in real, but she just read in a novel and she has that picture. So sometimes we have such kind of fantasized stories or fantasized ideas in the youth, especially either they are girls and boys, they are having the same charisma for Turkey, and that's why they are trying to apply for a lot of either privately or for the government scholarship programs. But since they get to know that there is a language barrier, so a lot of students back off, a lot of students take some other countries to move on, but later on they believe, okay, we were imagining something else, but but again it depends on person to person how they take the challenge of language barrier. Some people because Urdu and Turkish has a very familiarity of language. We have almost more than 4,000 probably words which are similar in Turkish and Urdu.
If a friend from your country visited Turkey for the first time, what would you recommend they try or do?
Okay, this is a serious question actually, not just an experience. What I say to everyone, especially coming from Pakistan or that background where the independence is not that appreciated, and until the age of even 30, many of the girls and especially even boys also, they have no idea how to open a bank account, how to even apply and talk to the officials or the administrations of different organizations in a different way. So when they come into, and again, our culture is a very traditionalist and conservative culture. When you come, even if you are living in a city life, still the way people perceive Turkey is a different way. And when it comes across to the real life, it's totally different way. I would say people living in Pakistan are more pampered, and when they come here, they have to struggle in it, struggle with the lifestyle, struggle with everything which they have never imagined in their life. So first, if you are coming for the educational perspective, then make sure that you have learned enough about the culture in which you are going to, about some political history about the society, about the culture, about the in general politics of the country. That's what I actually give them, the advices. I would say that before coming to anywhere, it's not about Turkey, anywhere, just read about them. And if, for example, in Turkey, if it is that mostly people tend to speak in Turkish language, then believe yourself to learn the language so that you can talk with the local people with their own language, so that they could easily and comfortably accept you, and you would also be comfortable with them. Because most of the time I have heard people, the Turkish people are very rude, but it's not they are rude, it's because there is no connectivity between the people. So obviously when they cannot understand you, they would just reply you with some body language, and the body languages are also culturally very different. The body language may be for us is very different, for the other people would be different. So instead of being judgmental, it's better to understand and accept whatever it is and learn before going anywhere. If you're coming for the touristic perspective, make sure that you are coming to another country, so show some respect and experience their culture instead of finding your own culture, which is very I would call the stupidity between, in general, South Asian culture. Unfortunately, wherever they go, they try to find their own culture, their own way of lifestyle. So, and they are not ready to accept the other side. They are not ready to accept, because we are nurtured, unfortunately, in this way. So, this is the time when you are coming out of your own boxes. So, I would not say that try to fit in other box, but at least try to accept them, try to learn about them. Maybe you would be fitted perfectly into their boxes as well, and maybe you would enjoy to be in their boxes instead of our own boxes.
Okay, now we are moving to the second part. This part is about Turkish food, and we want to answer your quick, because short answer. First, your top 3 Turkish food, no thinking.
Sure. Turkish food, dolma. What else? Any kind of chorba, especially mercimek and ezogelin. And the third one could be, I think, fasulye with rice.
Menemen with onions or without onions?
With onions. I love menemen and kahvaltı.
Okay, baklava. Do you like pistachio or walnut?
Pistachio one.
And how many slices can you handle?
Only one, because it's too sugary and I cannot take that much sugar.
Okay, have you tried kokoreç or çiğ köfte out of 10?
Yes, çiğ köfte, yes.
How many number out of 10?
10 by 10. It is one of the, simplest thing to eat.
Ayran or şalgam, which one shocked you more?
Ayran and?
Şalgam. Do you know şalgam?
Both of them. I don't like ayran, and I never tried shalgam also.
Okay. Turkish breakfast, but what's your favorite on the table?
Menemen, of course.